everybody, welcome to Moment of Clarity viewer questions. These are your questions, your comments, and if you want me to respond to yours, then feel free to leave them under this video. And every week we pick two people to win my comedy special, and I will list the two winners from last week. Anybody who comments can end up winning. This is from Biff Webster talking about on the latest episode of Common Censored, my podcast. We talked about the blackouts in California and pg&e, the electric company there that's gone bankrupt, and now they're talking about making it a public asset rather than a private company. But Biff Webster says, we dealt with the blackouts and had to toss, so he's in California. We dealt with the blackouts and had to toss food out and get ice and use candles and all of that crap. And when we tried to get updated information from pg&e, it was always a vague response. The word indefinite was used. We were also told that every power line had to be inspected before the power could be restored. But when we contacted a family member back east, a person who works for the power company, we found out that checking every power line was not necessary to reinstitute power to consumers. That if there were lines down, it could be seen, at least back east, on their computer grid. So yeah, I mean, I can't speak to whether pg&e is able to do that or not, but in general, we're in this situation because of corporate greed, because of manipulating our politicians to allow for that corporate greed, and yeah, it's just completely fucked up. You can hear a much longer, in-depth conversation about it with Eleanor Goldfield and myself on this past episode of Common Censored. Biff, I hope you got your power back. I hope everybody's doing all right. Power going out sounds like a kind of a small thing, although we're like, well, how am I gonna play my Angry Birds or more modern reference on phone than Lee is able to come up with right now? I was just going with the app that I recall from my 20s, it's Angry Birds. Nowadays, I don't know what the fuck people are playing. I don't know. Maybe it's Sullen Meerkats. Maybe that's the new one. Man, you played Sullen Meerkats? It's incredible. Anyway, I was going to say that the power going out is a fucking huge deal for a lot of people. It's a huge deal for the poor. It's a huge deal for the sick. There's so many, the elderly. So the power going out is no just, the power went out. Oh, it's a fucking catastrophe for a lot of people. So the fact that we're in this situation right now, that the richest country in the fucking world can't fucking create a system in California that's not profit-based, that can deal with the having the electricity on during fires is pathetic. And it's the new normal for climate change. That we are all gonna have to change the way we live, change what we care about, because we are in some deep shit. And people in California are seeing it first in a lot of ways. Anyway, Biff, I hope you got your power back. I hope things are all right. This person, Brent Piesinski, says, I have resubscribed to the YouTube channel resulting from automated unsubscribing as a feature. So for those of you who don't know, and some of you watching this may have already had this, may have this right now, YouTube is just unsubscribing people from my channel. They'll just, from Redacted Tonight, they'll just unsubscribe you, never let you know, and then just, you won't hear about the videos. And I know a lot of people that are big fans, they're like, it doesn't matter whether I hear about them or not, I'm going to go watch them. Yeah, but not everybody's like that. Like, I have things I like that I would watch if they're recommended, but we're slowly learning not to actually seek out what we like. We just wait for it to pop up. So when they unsubscribe you, they succeed in making sure a lot of people don't watch Redacted Tonight or whatever. So you have to go check often. And we also need to create new systems. I've started putting myself on other social media platforms, Minds, Steam It, but a lot of them are so small that you kind of got to keep using these big ones or else you're missing out on a massive audience. So please make sure you're still subscribed. All right, this is about the episode or segment we did. Actually, it was Anders Lee, new cast member for Redacted Tonight, did a segment on Chile and the neoliberal catastrophe that's going on there. There are major protests going on in Chile. Salvador Bermudez says, I am from Chile. This report is very accurate, but not sure about Allende not liking avocado toast. It is true. We couldn't find verification whether Salvador Allende loved or hated avocado toast, so we just made something up. And I apologize. Sometimes you gotta Sometimes you got to do that in our show. But anyway, he's saying the Chile segment on neoliberalism was accurate. Here is Mark Gigil. You won't see this on the evening news, meaning the Chile segment. It's actually happening all over the world, except in the USA, where the people aren't suffering enough quite yet to stop looking at their phones. I mean, the sullen meerkats is very engrossing. It's tough to look away. Because, I've got like 6,000 points on sullen meerkats, and I'm not gonna go to a protest if I'm on the brink of level 12. You kidding me? Mark continues, the only journalists left are on the internet. Turn off the TV. They did a study and found people that watch Fox News are less informed about the truth than people who watch nothing at all. That's true. They did do that study, and to me, that's fucking hilarious. It's amazing that there could be a news station that makes you less informed, and people keep watching it. You'd think that would make them seem very dumb, and it does, and yet people still keep watching it. And the same goes, granted, I would argue that there are certain aspects of the truth that maybe CNN or MSNBC might do better than Fox News. For example, CNN and MSNBC or NPR will acknowledge climate change is a thing, whereas Fox News pretends it's not. But CNN, MSNBC, and NPR, they have spent 40 years ignoring climate change. And now they've just started waking up to it. So, is that much better? Barely. All right, Mr. Shiggity. Oh, and actually, if you watch the Redacted pre-show segment that I did this week, Fox News owners, News Corp, that do the Wall Street Journal, they had almost the exact same article as the New York Times on their cover on the same day, last Tuesday. Though a News Corp, a Fox News entity, had the same article as the New York Times. So as you can see, these things aren't that different. Fox News and the New York Times, a lot of overlap there, especially on foreign policy. All right, Mr. Shiggity, unfortunately, the baby boomers in the USA and the UK are still hyper addicted to their big brain daddy, Milton Friedman's debt doesn't matter voodoo economics. Milton Friedman is the father of, neoliberalism and all that bullshit that has destroyed so many people's lives. Trump and the boomers are going to record yearly debt, and they aren't stopping. Boris and the UK Brexit boomers are going to record stupidity day by day. The boomers worship Reagan and Thatcher. That's just a fact. Stealing the future's money. You're now seeing the result of the largest intergenerational theft in human history. He's absolutely right. I'm assuming it's a he because the Mr. in Shiggity. But he's absolutely right. It is a massive theft of the entire wealth of the world. And part of the reason that, white people go, why can't we go back to the golden years of like the 50s where everybody could have one job, you could take care of a family, have a house, a car, all of that on one job. Pretty much everybody had a job. Why don't we go back to those golden years? White people, again. And what they don't take into account is, first of all, as I'm joking around by saying white people, that was golden years for a specific group of our society. But beyond just that, that was a time when industry and the number of human beings on the planet and production and everything, especially in America and certain other countries, it was all there. It was all there for the taking. There was enough materials to just endlessly exploit. There was enough room and it just could be, it allowed the enrichment of basically everyone in a large degree. And so you could have a society like that. Nowadays, you have fewer and fewer resources, fossil fuels. We're way past peak oil, right? Not to mention climate change. You can't keep burning it like this. We're killing all the forests. We're in the middle of the 6th grade extinction. We've lost 50% of all wildlife in the past 40 years. So we're past that point that you could just exploit endlessly and just succeed. And now it's into a killing kind of cycle that it slowly goes back down where we destroy everything unless we change our ways. And in a larger sense, we're in a post-scarcity world. People don't have to be hungry. They have to be hungry in the system we have. So we throw away 40% of all food. If that were distributed correctly, nobody in America would be food poor, food insecure. It wouldn't exist. But we don't live in a system like that. We live in capitalism that is meant to, you all decide who can grab the most by exploiting others, and that's how the system works. So we're in a post-scarcity world if we wanted to use it, but we don't. We just want to keep seeing if we can beat the shit out of the other guy to get enough of the shit we want. Let's see. Some last comment, smart devices. This is on the smart devices segment we did. D. Clyde says, for at least 5 years, Harry Shearer has been sounding the warning on these so-called smart devices on the threat to privacy they pose. Not just from landlords and police, but from random strangers. I will never have one in my house. It is true, and I don't need to, again, explain all the privacy concerns, I don't think. But the problem is it's not just smart homes. It's going to be everything. Like everything is going to be, we already have an internet of things, right? Your fridge now can tell you you're out of things. You're at the store and it's saying, hey, buy eggs. And your toaster can be like, I don't like bread anymore, or whatever. Things can speak to you, and they're all collecting data on you and information, and that is all being collected, as we now know, by our NSA. So the the privacy concerns are not just, like, you don't have to have Alexa sitting there. You don't have to just have Google Home to have massive privacy intrusion. Our TVs, we found out the CIA can turn on smart TVs. You don't know they're turned on. They don't like come on. They're just internally on. And they are recording everything you're saying and analyzing it. So if you speak around your TV, that could go to a database. That could easily, right now, maybe they're only looking for you to be anyone who says, hey, I'm thinking of bombing the guy next door with a big old bomb. Maybe they're only looking for that right now. But if they ever decide to spy on you for some other reason, if you become critical of the state and you need to be checked on, then they're able to do that through your television. So I'm just saying, it's not just the smart TV, smart devices. It's not just Alexa. It's not just Google Home. It's not just fucking Carl the Roomba. It's everything. And unless we come up with rules to abide by, we're just going to have everything spied on. And that's complete control, right? Once they are able to analyze everything you do, know your patterns, know the way you live your life, they can easily decide whether you're a risk, and that could mean a risk to their propaganda machine, right? Which is what I am on Facebook, right? I'm a risk to the standard propaganda, so now they've shadow banned me in a lot of ways. That's what's going on here on YouTube, right? What the stuff I talk about, these topics are a risk to the ruling elite's talking points. They're acceptable thoughts you're allowed to have, and so now they don't recommend my videos or they desubscribe you. So it's not just, I'm just saying, it's not just Alexa. You can't just be like, I don't have Alexa in my home, I'm safe. It's far more complicated than that, and we got to start standing up for ourselves and fighting back. So please leave a comment if you want to be entered to win a copy of my comedy special. The winners are Antonio Garmschi and Maria Lawson. And you two, to get your free download, just email leecampledger@protonmail.com. If anybody else wants the comedy special or even to check out part of it for free, go to leecampcomedyspecial.com. All right. Join my email list because that's one of the few ways I can still talk to y'all. And yes, I say y'all sometimes. All right, fucking grew up in Virginia. To sign up to the email list, you can do that at leecamp.com or text the word redacted to 444-999. All right, that's all I got from here. Please leave me comments and questions, and I'll try and get to as many as I can. Spread these videos. Keep fighting.